Hi, I'm Bob Nystrom.
Hi, this is Bo Dietl.
Hey, this is Rich Big Daddy Salgado.
Hi, this is Doc Goodney, and you're watching Sports Biz.
Sports Biz.
Sports Biz with LD.
Sports fans, this is Sports Biz with LD.
Welcome to Sports Biz with LD. I'm your host, Larry Davis. You can always see us at Sports Biz with LD. Facebook Sports Biz with LD, and of course you could tweet me, Sports Biz with LD. Can't be here without our sponsors. One, can't say enough about Blue Chip. Without Blue Chip, you couldn't see me every week. Also, the Rampart Group Insurance for all your insurance needs, rampartinsurancegroup.com, 388 Restaurant and Lounge, 388 Willis Avenue, Roslyn, New York. A1 VIP Entertainment for all your tickets and meet and greets. Like they just showed a photo on their Facebook page, how people got to meet Britney Spears in Las Vegas. That's pretty cool. And our newest sponsor, EZ Pawn, P-A-W-N, with 15 locations in the New York area. If you need money, if you're in trouble, or if you're not in trouble, you just want to sell something to get the cash, EZ Pawn is the place to be. To my left, very special guest, very happy to have him here, Mike Pfaff, President and GM of the Long Island Ducks. Mike.
Thank you for having me, Larry. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Mike, what is that? What's the ring, Mike? What's that?
This is a little championship ring that we won last year. This was the third Ducks championship, second of back-to-back wins, and it was a pretty special moment in Ducks history, and very proud moment for the Ducks and their fans.
Mike, it's a little stuck, you know what I mean? If it
hands,
fits.
man. Big boy.
Wow, right. Wow, so let's get back to that. 2 back-to-back titles. Let's talk about that.
Sure. Yeah, it was. It's been a really good run with Kevin Baez as our manager.
Yes.
He's been our manager since 2011, and we're in our 4th season with him as the skipper. And we've gone to 3 straight championship series. We've won each of the last 2 championships, and this year we can do something that no other team in Atlantic League history has done, and that's go to 4 straight championships and win 3 in a row. So we're excited about the opportunity.
So now, but you're second place in the standings right now, is that correct?
That's correct.
So explain to us how that works. The independent league, listen, you know, most of us know how Major League Baseball works. How many divisions? Of course, the first place team goes, wild cards. Explain how that all works.
Sure. There are 2 divisions. The winners of each division meet in the championship series. So there's the Liberty Division and the Freedom Division. The season is 140 games long.
Wow.
It's split into 2 70-game halves, and the winners of each half in each division play each other to go to the championship series.
So it's 4 teams.
Correct. 4 teams qualify for the playoffs.
No wild card, I guess. Doesn't sound like there's a wild card there.
There could be. If there's one division winner that wins the first half, that also wins the second half,
Okay.
because every team starts back at 0-0, then the best overall record then qualifies for the playoffs. So it could be a team like the Ducks right now, if the season ended today, Somerset has won the first half. They're in first place in our division in the second half. We're playing them tonight at home at 7:05.
Don't forget that, 7:05.
And they are liducks.com for tickets, 631-940-TICKS. And they are, and
But he's not doing any promos.
if they win the second half, if the season were to end today, we would qualify for the playoffs as a wild card because we have the next best record of the teams that are not leading a division right now.
But the wild card, as we know, is not going on. You know, guys don't do that.
We do a wild card if a division winner
Only
wins
if.
both halves.
Right.
Only if, right?
Otherwise, it's not like the wild card
not
out there.
guaranteed.
Like what's keeping baseball alive right now is one of the moves that Bud Selig did was throw that wild card in there and throw the second wild card. Because otherwise, listen, it's a shame to say, Mike, but it's so boring that this keeps the fans given an opportunity, a chance to get in and be in the tournament, so they say, like they say in the NCAA.
Well, sure. Every team needs a chance, and every fan base needs a chance to feel like they're part of the action and they have an opportunity to win. So the Atlantic League has done a great job of that through its first 17 years of every market right now has a legitimate chance of being in the playoffs. It takes a hot run now, when we're middle of August, late August, and even teams that have overall well under 500 records have an opportunity to think playoffs right now.
Which is great. I mean, that's really what it's all about. So now, you being the president and the GM, how long have you been with the Ducks?
This is my 12th season. I came to the Ducks in 2002, and I spent 7 years at the NFL prior to that, and started with the Ducks in a communications capacity, which is what I did at the NFL, and kind of grew into this role over time.
Interesting. You go to the NFL, the big dogs. I mean, the NFL is only a $9 billion business. And then you go to independent baseball. How'd that happen? You live on Long Island? You just wanted to be around your family? What was your thoughts?
Well, I worked at the NFL for a while, and really my goal was to be the director or lead PR person for a team at the NFL level. And I saw a lot of people that were getting those opportunities, were getting them by having that experience either on a minor or major level. So the Long Island Ducks I had heard about. I grew up on Long Island. There was really nothing like the Ducks around when I was young. And they had great success their first couple of years, and I saw the opportunity. Their GM at the time had left and gone to get a job with an affiliated team, and their communications director moved into the GM seat, which opened the communications director chair. So I thought this would be a good opportunity for me to get that experience that would hopefully propel me to a lead job in the NFL. 12 years later, here I am.
Well, 12 years, but now you're the GM.
Yes.
Right, so and then you became the president. So, listen, it's looking pretty good right now.
GM in 2006,
Right.
president in 2011, and it's been a great run. I've really enjoyed it.
So now as a GM, you go out there, you pick the play. Independent baseball is, as I think I'm correct, is none of the Major League Baseball teams own any of the players. They're not an affiliate of the Major League teams. Is that correct?
Well, the way we look at it is the teams are and the rosters are open classification. What people are used to hearing about is the classifications of minor league baseball. So the Yankees have a rookie, a low A, a high A, a double A, a triple A franchise. And those players belong to the Yankees. The Yankees can call them up, move them up and down. In the Atlantic League, which is an independent league, we have... You have a phone call?
Yeah, I have a phone call.
Is that Mom?
Coach,
say hi to Mom for me.
Coach Steve Spagnuolo calling in. Coach Spagnuolo, how are you?
Good, Larry. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm here with Michael Pfaff, who says he worked for the NFL for how many years, Mike?
7 years.
7 years.
Awesome. How long ago was that?
95 to 02. Steve, how are you?
Terrific. You're doing great, Mike. Happy to talk to both you guys.
Likewise.
So let's get right into it, Coach. Right now, you're the assistant head coach and secondary coach for the Baltimore Ravens. How'd that happen?
Well, like most businesses and that people are in, there's a connection somewhere. And John Harbaugh, who you know is the head coach of the Ravens, and I go back a ways. We worked together for 8 years in Philadelphia under Andy Reid, and so we've been friends for a long time. Even when we were both head coaches at the same time, we'd often bounce a lot of things off of each other. So when the opportunity arose, I jumped at it, and I'm happy to be there.
I'm sure you are. I mean, they won the Super Bowl just a couple of years ago, and your roster is stocked with talent, right, Coach?
Well, we feel pretty good right now. I mean, everybody, all 32 teams in the league, assuming they're staying healthy, all feel pretty good about their rosters. They do a great job here in Baltimore. Ozzie Newsome does a terrific job. Been doing it for a long time. The organization is very solid, and they find ways to grow talent, keep it here, and it has resulted in a lot of wins for the Baltimore Ravens.
A lot of wins for the Baltimore Ravens, and of course it starts with the quarterback, Flacco.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of those. He's like the Mad Balmer, For some reason, it reminds me of like Darryl LaMonica. Like he could throw the ball downfield.
You know what, Larry? He really can. I tell you, it's amazing. If you guys ever get a chance to come to a practice, you'd see the same things. You recognize immediately on the practice field how strong an arm Joe has and how accurate he is. And he's a big man. You walk by him, he's a huge individual, and he's got tremendous talent. But I tell you what, you're dead on, Larry. His arm is that's what makes him great. You know, he's a solid football player, been doing it for a long time. He's won a lot of games since he's been in the league. But I was impressed immediately. You know, when you walk on the practice field and you see him chuck that ball around, it's pretty impressive.
It is pretty impressive. Then in the backfield, you have Ray Rice, who out of Rutgers, who has really done a great job in the NFL since he came in. How's Ray doing with that whole situation? How's the team doing? Everything good? I mean, everybody's moving and supporting him and his family.
Yeah, I think very much so. We all know it's unfortunate what happened. Ray recognizes that. He has addressed it. And his teammates, the teammates and coaches all recognize that what happened was very unfortunate, and none of us wants to go through that. But Ray as a person is very, very solid. We're happy to support him. He's done a great job. He's continued like a pro here during training camp, and hopefully those kind of things are behind him, and we can move on.
Yes, we all hope that. Moving on to the defensive side, which is really what you're all about. You got some ballers, over there on the defensive side, Coach.
Yeah, I tell you what, and you guys know this. You've seen it with teams in New York. You've seen it around the league. Defensively, and I've always believed this, it begins up front. And the one thing that the Ravens have had, a history of is good players up front, whether it's at the first level in the D line or whether it's the linebacker level. And we think we have that again this year. There's guys that you're real familiar with, Haloti Ngata, and we call them Sizzle, but Terrell Suggs. And those guys have been to a lot of Pro Bowls. But there's other guys that think that are filtered in there that are going to surface as well, and a couple of draft picks that we've taken recently that we think will help us as well.
Yeah, I would think so. The Ravens are always going to be there. They're a team to be reckoned with. This week you're going to be playing the Redskins in an exhibition game. And, Coach, what's your whole take? What's going on with the Redskins, with the name? Should it be changed? Me personally, I don't see what the big... I'm not... of Indian descent. But to me, the Redskins have been around for so many years. I look at it as like respect to them that they're called the Washington Redskins. What's your take on this? Because it's all over football.
Again, us coaches, we get our bunker down mentality when you're in training camp. I'm not. You're probably more aware of all of that that's going on right now. It's not really for me to address. I think the league does a good job of handling all situations, and I'll kind of leave that for the upper sort of echelon people to really comment about. But we're looking forward to playing them in this game. I tell you what, historically a tremendous organization.
Yeah.
Larry and Mike, I actually had the privilege of working for the Redskins as an intern in 1983 after they won their first Super Bowl with Joe Theismann and John Riggins, and Coach Buell was the offensive line coach, and Coach Gibbs was the head coach. But that was quite an experience. So I go way back and have always respected the Washington Redskins. How
could you not? Right, Mike? There was some team they had, with the Hogs.
As a former NFL communications guy, I have to compliment Coach Spagnuolo on his handling of that question that you threw out there. That's a good job, Steve. That's a nice job.
Hey, you saw me do that dance.
You had the shuffle going, man. I like it.
Listen, if I didn't know you were playing them, I wouldn't have said it. Well, Coach, what about now also, since you're also the secondary coach, it's like no touching? The defensive backs can't touch the receivers. How are you going to stop the quarterbacks who are so good in this league from completing passes?
It's funny you say that. Just the other day I was saying, okay, I'm going to go back to being a position coach for a little bit here. The last place you really want to go this year is coaching secondary. Right. With the way the rules are going, I want to go back. I want to go over to offense. But I think it's something that, I really believe. I had a conversation with Dean Blandino, the head of the officials in the league, just the other day. I really believe everybody's trying to feel their way through this. I think the officials are trying to do it. I think Dean is. I think all the coaches and the players are as well. And typically, when this happens in the league and there's an emphasis in a particular area, there's usually a knee-jerk reaction. It kind of gets out of whack initially, and then it kind of smooths itself out. So I think the league and the players, will find a way, obviously, to perform the game the way we want it played, and also officiate it the way we want it, so it's not a yellow flag every other down. But right now, it's very, very challenging for a defensive back, especially corners, to defend wide receivers, certainly past that 5-yard area, because we're really not allowed to do very much other than cover with your feet and try to keep the ball away from them catching it. But we all know the league, or people tend to view the NFL with a little more excitement when they score points, and I think in some regards that's why the rules are as they are. But we'll work through it, and again, I think it'll smooth out, and probably 2-3 weeks into the season, you won't hear a lot about it.
Yeah, probably a little bit of a correlation. You know, Mike's in the baseball business now, like the whole home plate rule, you know, in Major League Baseball. Can I hit the catcher? Can I not hit the catcher? You know, They're working through that too, so I guess it's the same kind of thing. You know, here being in New York, Coach, we've got to go back to '07. You know, I said this thing on your phone a couple of weeks ago. The Giants start out that game. First thing, if I remember, Strahan holds out, right? It wasn't
that
in
season. You're right. You're right. Michael wasn't there for training camp.
Straight holds out, and he puts on a Superman cape for the first game. And if I recall, Coach, I'm sure you don't want me to say this, but I think your defense let up like 80 points the first two games, Coach.
It was a rough beginning. That's all I can say. Thank God it ended the way it did. But I certainly had doubts in my mind after those first two games. Yeah, we struggled. We were putting in a new defense, obviously, and Michael wasn't there for all of the training camp, and he was an integral part of the defense going forward. So, we had some bumps and bruises there early, but thank God we actually played the Washington Redskins in the third game, had a big goal line stand to kind of turn things around, and I believe we went on a 6-game win streak to kind of get us back in contention there, and then, of course, as they say, the rest is history, but it was just a wonderful, wonderful season with a lot of wonderful people.
Right, I mean, and everybody says this about the Giants organization from the Maras all the way down, right? Just a class organization through and through, right, Coach?
Amen. I couldn't reiterate that anymore. I mean, the Maras from John on down through his family, the Tisch family, Jerry Reese, everybody over in that building is first class, top notch. They know how to run an organization, know how to treat people, and I think anybody that's ever worked for the Giants has come away with the same feeling that you're proud and happy to have worked for the New York Football Giants.
And then after that, you get a head coaching gig with the St. Louis Rams. Tell us about that for a couple of years. That must have been a great experience.
Great challenge. Timing is everything, and we ran into a couple of big hurdles with lockouts, and the rookie wage scale changed. We had an ownership change while I was there, so there were some hurdles, but we were very, very proud of what we did, especially going from 1-15 this first season, which was always going to be a little rocky, to 7-9, one win.
Right.
If we'd beaten Seattle in the last game of the season, we would have been in the playoffs. That would have been a great accomplishment. And in 2011 was just rough. It was a tough schedule. We really had a young team that needed to develop, and with the lockout and no off season, I think it set us back a little bit, and we certainly should have won more than 2 games. But really still proud of what a lot of people did there, players and coaches. And again, 3 years under my belt as a head coach, I think it's valuable experience, and I'm glad that I did it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you're in charge of the whole thing, and you're right. You went into a tough situation, and you did a very good job, I think. I mean, the record didn't say that, but I think you did a very good job with that team.
Yeah, we felt that way. I mean, it's like anything else, guys. If you feel like when you leave that a situation is better than when you first got there, you have to be proud of that. And I think there's a lot of people that feel the same way. But this league is about winning, and we didn't win enough games, and I get it, and so you move on.
One of the things that the great Coach Parcells said, you are your record.
Yeah. That and something about the groceries, right?
Right, the fact that groceries. Well, that was one of his, 5 or 6 or 7, different jobs that he left for. Coach, I got to give you a hello. I spoke to Richard Big Daddy Scalgato. I told him you're going to be on the show. He told me to make sure I say what's up and how you doing, and that him and I got to come to a game and see you one day, one Sunday.
You got to do that. Big Daddy, is awesome. I love that man, and I'm glad. I hope to see him sometime soon. He usually pops up somewhere along the season.
Well, I think I'm going to pop in one game during the season. I'll text you and let you know. Coach, thanks for being on Sports Biz with LD. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure, guys. Take care. Have a great day.
Take care.
All right, Coach.
Bye-bye.
Coach Spagnuolo,
It's interesting hearing, his take on, I didn't know he worked for the Redskins that long ago, but interesting hearing his take on his time with the Rams and kind of how he felt, wrapping that all up. You don't hear that a lot. You hear about coaches when they come in. You don't hear a lot after they leave, kind of looking back, so it's an interesting perspective.
And listen, you got it's an unbelievable job. You're a head coach in the NFL. And then, right, and then think about that he said that. You're right, that he was with the Redskins, and look what he was there. With the Hogs, with Theismann,
Joe
with
Gibbs,
Joe
John Riggins,
Gibbs.
sure.
I mean, Joe Gibbs, who arguably is one of the top coaches in NFL history.
Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer. You have to say that. What did he win? 3 Super Bowls?
Yeah.
Then he came back. It didn't work out. It just seems that, by the way, whoever Daniel Snyder hires, they just don't work out.
There's something wrong in the water there. I don't know what's going on in Washington. It's tough.
But, Coach is a good buddy of mine. It's really good to have him on the
awesome.
show. I appreciate it. I'm sorry I had to interrupt you. I'm trying to get him on.
Absolutely.
It's not easy getting these
I
coaches.
It's live TV, Larry. That's what you do.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. So let's get back to your promotion of the Ducks. I mean, look what you brought in for us. A little
Well, I
Buddy
wanted to clear up,
Harrelson.
you had a great question. I'll get right to this after answering your former question. It's a bobblehead. It's supposed to bobble. But,
Oh, thanks. I wasn't sure.
So the classification question. So a lot of people
Yes.
have that same question. It's a great question. It's people say independent baseball. They don't really understand what that means. And so those classification levels that all major league teams have, those are the players they own. In the Atlantic League, we can, and it's kind of the cool part about our roster, is that we can sign players that played in the major leagues for 15 years, or they're guys that got to single A, double A, triple A. So we're open classification. Anyone from any classification can sign with us. Our players are essentially playing free agents for all 32 MLB teams. So it's kind of interesting when you have a player like a Dontrell Willis on your team who pitched for us last year, and a guy like Craig Binnick. And for people from Long Island, Craig is a guy that grew up in Hicksville, went to Chaminade, went to NYIT, got drafted by the Baltimore Orioles, made it to the AA level, and was vying for a batting title in the Atlantic League. So people hear, oh, he signed with the Ducks. That's cool. I'll go out to the game and follow him. And he's playing with Dontrell Willis and guys, Ramon Castro and Josh Barfield and all these big leaguers.
Josh Barfield, Jesse's son?
Jesse's son, yeah, that played with the Padres. So, they look at that, and it's a really neat way to kind of be able to construct a roster without those types of limits, and it helps us put a really good
And
product
it's all
on the
you.
field.
You're picking the players. You're the
Well,
GM.
I work with obviously no one does anything alone, and I do a decent amount of the legwork and follow through, but certainly our manager, Kevin Baez, has input, Buddy Harrelson has input, and Frank Bolton, the founder and CEO of the Ducks, without whom none of it would be there. He's the guy that started it all. He certainly has input as well. So it's a team effort. We all work hard, and hopefully at the end of the day bring home that trophy again.
And now being a sports business show, let's talk financially. It seems like you look at that stadium, you have sponsors all over. You pretty much own Long Island. There isn't any competition for you. Financially, how well are you guys doing?
Well, we've worked very hard at trying to maintain and fulfill our promise, and that is to be the cleanest, safest, most fan-friendly and affordable way for people to spend their discretionary dollar. And at the end of the day, our promise to our sponsors has been, we're going to deliver that high value to you as well. So when we say that, we need to deliver on that. So our prices have remained static since 2000.
Really? Even after you won a couple of back-to-back titles, you didn't raise the price?
No, it's about
When people would have thought you could, right?
Well, I mean, that would be a thought that a lot of people would have, but I think at the end of the day, we're looking to pound more value back into what we have to kind of keep that lightning in the bottle, as we say. So, when you look at the Ducks and what we provide to those sponsors, it's impressions, bodies and seats, a positive association with a great product. I mean, we welcomed our 6 millionth fan this year. And no team in league history has done that. So it's we have over.
What'd you say? No team?
No team in Atlantic League history has done that. We were the first team to do that. So
that's great.
It was a great.
And how many years?
This is our 15th anniversary season. Wow. So you look at our sponsors, and I guess that's a good segue back into the bobblehead. But this is Dantona Industries, a Long Island company. Don Dantona. In fact, they gave away the yearbook, the notebooks, the back-to-school notebooks last night. Great back-to-school notebook. There's Don on the cover, by the way, doing the field drag in the 5th inning. That was a must for the sponsorship.
A field drag.
Don,
Most people want to throw the first pitch. He's doing a field drag, man. That's great. He's like a regular guy. I love it.
And this is their
You can't
giveaway
give the kids
from.
answers to questions, though, you got
They're
to
in
be
the
blank.
back. They're in the back. But this is the bobblehead he gave away last year, Buddy with the championship trophy, the Bud Harrelson bobblehead. Comes with the collector's box, information about the sponsor on it and about Bud Harrelson. You look here, we have the traditional baseball giveaway cap. This is back-to-back Atlantic League champions hat, sponsored by Ridgewood Savings Bank. So the first 1,500 fans get those, and they get digital signage,
You on Long Island,
tables.
you want to be a sponsor. The Ducks, I guess, you want to capture. I read that, what do you average, about 5,000 fans per game?
Right now we're at 5,150, yeah.
51.50. I was close. 5.
That's close.
That's pretty close.
I could have said yes.
You could have said yes. You have to be exact.
I'm sorry.
And so how many fans this year? So how many games you have home
70
games?
games.
70 games. So that's 350,000. Wow, 350,000 people. Now, are you on TV and radio? Like, what about that? Like, I
Yes.
wouldn't know that.
Well, we had broadcast games on Cablevision in the past, and what we're doing now is we're live streaming games, much like this
Like this
show.
show, right.
And we live stream on liducks.com on our YouTube channel, and we have a radio broadcast that is on 103.9 LI News Radio.
What I think would be cool, and of course we got to talk to Corinne, you know, she's the owner. We should bring the show, if that would be cool with you, to Duck Stadium and do a show live from there, maybe before the game, get some of the players on, get you on. Maybe if Mr. Bolton's there, I know Buddy would come on.
Absolutely.
I think that
We'd
would be
love to do
great.
That would be great.
That would be great. Corinne, okay? So I'm working it for you, Corinne. Okay, I don't know where you are, but I'm working it. Well, that's really cool. So I definitely got to come out there. And what also, Michael had said, what we're going to do, you're going to go on our Facebook page. I'm going to let 4 people, right, get 4 tickets to a game, get on the field.
Winner, 4 tickets to a game, on field, first pitch, picture with Bud Harrelson. Go onto your Facebook page, do the pitch. Go ahead, Larry.
Go onto my Facebook page, Sports Biz with LD. And, of course, you got to go to the Ducks Facebook page.
Yes, liducks.com, facebook.com/liducks, at liducks, and at liducksgm on Twitter. And tonight, we're giving away these T-shirts. It's Jansen, ShopRite, home run against Hunger Night, Ducks on the front, home run against Hunger logo on the back. First 1,500 fans through the gate tonight will get those as well.
Is there a promotion every game? Is that like the minor league thought process?
Yeah, one of the things that we try to do is giveaways like these. Many times if you walked into the gift shop or the merchandise shop, it would cost you what your ticket cost. You know, the average ticket price is $10. Parking is free, but you go in and you get
Parking is free. Everybody hear that? Love that. Parking is free.
But you go in and you get a bobblehead like that, you know, if you went into the team store, it's going to cost $10, $15. So right away, you know, the cost of your ticket got you a nice piece of high-end merchandise right through the gates for free.
It's amazing. The show's almost over. Sports Biz with LD. Again, let me thank my sponsors. Rampart Insurance Group for all your insurance needs. RampartInsurance.com. 388 Restaurant and Lounge. 388 Willis Avenue, Roslyn, New York. And any guest on our show. See, we got some stuff going on too, Mike. Okay? Here is a gift certificate for Mike to go to 388 Willis Avenue in Roslyn.
Thank you.
And the owner said to me, Maddie, who's a good friend of mine, who is a huge Met fan, and said that Buddy has been in his restaurants before, wanted you to give one to Bud Harrelson
Happy to do that.
as well.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. A1 VIP Entertainment for all your tickets, and if you want to meet and greet people, he won't be able to hook you up with the Ducks because now we got Mike, so VIP Entertainment can't do that. And Easy Pawn, PAWN Corp, with 15 locations throughout the New York area. SportsBizWithLD.com, SportsBizWithLD on the Facebook, tweet SportsBizWithLD. I'm your host, Larry Davis. Michael, thank you
so
very much.
Appreciate being
Let's
here.
go
Thank you.
Ducks. See you next week.
Sports Biz is sponsored by the Rampart Insurance Group for all your insurance needs. Special thanks to MintPros.com. Brought to you by the Daily Blue Network. Sports fans, this is Sports Biz with LD.